We are anonymous. This is Operation Cannabis 420. Organize and rally all over the globe. Cannabis. And prohibition. No. Cannabis. And the lies. No. Cannabis. And government-sanctioned harm. No. Cannabis. And the Narcotics Control Board stranglehold. No. And now's the time to re-educate. Now is the time to end the war on drugs. Now's the time to abolish bad laws. Now's the time for drug law reform. Now's the time to legalize cannabis. Who is to blame for the current state of affairs? It is this global bully, the INCB, that enforces the bad laws that are the war on drugs. The Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs of 1961 is an international treaty to prohibit production and supply of specific drugs. The INCB administers controls on drug production, international trade and dispensation. The UN Office on Crime works with countries' legislators to ensure compliance. But now, Anonymous has uncovered some hope with incoming Australian INCB board member, Professor Wayne Hall, a recent supporter of harm minimisation and law reform. His words.
For 50 years we've had most countries that are signatories to the Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs, which requires governments to make it a criminal offence to use any of the illicit drugs, cannabis, cocaine, amphetamines or heroin, for other than medical purposes. That requires governments to penalise and imprison people who break the law, or there are alternative policies that we could implement that might be more effective in reducing the harm arising.
And what do they conclude?
The main conclusion is that we really have to look hard at allowing or individual countries exercising the option of renouncing treaties. In Bolivia, they will be renouncing the provision of the Single Convention, which requires them to criminalise the use of coca leaf.
Governments have used anti-cannabis propaganda to misinform the public and to entrench fear about cannabis. In this way, governments have been directly responsible for harms and damage to individuals and society. The INCB consistently places law enforcement over human rights concerns, and insists on using judgmental terminology, by almost always calling all drug users drug abusers. Cannabis prohibition actually causes the harms it professes to restrict. These moves created organized networks of criminals to get very rich by the provision of this newly illicit substance. These networks needed only prohibition itself to advertise grass. What better way to appeal to the curiosity of teens and young adults? Why is it that the rich and powerful can admit their drug use and remain unscathed? Now is the time we take our lives back into our own hands. We are anonymous, united as one, divided by zero. We do not forgive, we do not forget.